Google Business Profile has been around for a long time, and that silly thing has been every name, Google Maps and Google Places. And I think the dumbest thing Google did, well, let me say this, one of the dumbest, which they've done some really dumb things, was change that name from Google My Business.
I
You know what
know.
I'm saying? I mean, was that not the perfect name? Yeah, what you want to do? I want you to Google my business. Oh yeah, that was so sweet, man. I love that name. I was like, who? It reminds me of. I don't know if you guys had corporate mergers and acquisitions you've been a part of over your career, but the new guy comes in and wants to change all these things. And they start making changes on things to me that don't make sense, but they're new and they got to put their brand on it. But when somebody came in and changed Google My Business, I'm like, oh my gosh. That was quite silly, I thought. But anyway, it's been a variety of names, but for years and years, the thing has been the absolute premier piece of real estate on the internet. And that's what I said here. I just put that down here see if I can roll this thing forward. That basically it's, absolutely hands down the most important piece of real estate on the internet today for home inspectors, but not just for home inspectors, for every small business in your community. If you're a local business, man, you need to be there. So that's it. I mean, how many times have you guys looked for a restaurant and they showed up in a 3-pack, or a plumber
Mhm.
or an electrician or whatever it happens to be? And they're right there and it gives you everything that you want to do. But for home inspectors, because we're kind of on this jag with Sitzer Burnett. Now, the 17th has come and gone, and it's going to take us a little bit, but I saw some agent videos, and one of them was a friend of ours, and they've been a home inspector help member and friend forever. And she's a realtor, her husband's a home inspector. And she basically said, oh, here's the Sitzer Burnett thing. It really isn't anything different. We're just going to have you fill out a little agreement, a buyer's agreement, to show you any property. But she didn't say we can't show you a property unless we have the buyer's agent agreement filled out. And I will tell you this, will those agreements contain an exclusive? In other words, if I show you a property, am I your buyer's agent now? Brandon, have you heard anything about that part of it? Do
Yeah.
they have the exclusive back in there?
Yeah, I think so. I went to the last 7 days, been into two different meetings where that was discussed. It's still so interesting that there's just, within the agents themselves, still there's so much confusion. Here we are a week into it now, and we've known about it for months.
Years, but the judgment,
Sure,
yeah,
yeah.
and the settlement.
Yeah. And so there's just a lot of chaos still, I feel, within the agents and not knowing how to approach things. And but yeah, I mean, as far as the buyer's agreement, at least in our state, that's one of the meetings I was at yesterday, was the forms and talking about the forms. And there's a timeline you can put in there, so it's a certain amount of weeks or months. It doesn't have to be forever, but still, like, if you meet an agent for the first time, it's like, okay, let's sit down and sign this thing. If I don't have a relationship with that agent, I'm not signing a long-term commitment to them, right? And so there's going to be some pushback on that for sure.
There was always pushback on it before Sitzer Burnett judgment, and what happened was that's why most agents didn't use them.
Yeah.
Because there was so much pushback. Now the broker would have loved the buyer's agents to use them in the old days, but it just didn't happen.
Yeah.
And for Chad and for Claude, you guys may have not been with us for some of these other discussions, but Sitzer Burnett and Chad was in the meetings with us in Florida and in Texas when we talked about this, where the federal government has ruled that the agents' commissions and the way they've done it have been antitrust, and they've broken all that up. And so what happens is sellers no longer have to pay the buyer's commissions. So that really, most home inspectors get a significant portion of their referrals from home buyers agents. And what happens is when those referrals go away, which they will in the next few months, how are you going to replace those units? Those I call home inspections units. So how are you going to
Well,
replace those? And
well,
that's really
one
kind of what we're talking about.
one interesting thing that came up in the conversation from last Friday, it was a panel of brokers in our area, and one of the gals, she's a broker, very well known, very well respected in our area, and she's actually the state president. I'm not sure which organization, but some realtor association for the entire state. She more or less said, we put ourselves in this position as agents, right? Because we have not been professional. It was too easy to sell a house. And now here we are, we got to deal with these consequences. And she more or less came out and said, we're going to see a lot of agents getting out of the market because they just can't keep up. They can't show that professionalism. And, so that's just going to be one of the consequences. So, like, and the last point I want to make here is, too many inspectors still have no clue about, first of all, the judgment at all. And then number two, they all still feel like there's not going to be a big change at all. I mean, the change is coming no matter no matter what.
Right. Well, I think one of the things about it is getting the word out, and we've tried to do that to the home
Yeah.
inspection industry, but people are resistant to that information because it definitely means that it's trouble for the home inspector.
Yeah.
Those that learn how to market it in alternative ways, besides real estate agent referrals, it's not going to be a problem. Who's going to turn out maybe to be a big winner in this whole thing from a home inspector perspective? How about the Independent Inspectors of America's Association members? They have to take the sworn oath in blood, that they will not take business from a real estate agency. And they've been a real estate agent. They've been around a long time. And their members have marketed their business and grown their business without real estate agent referrals.
Yeah.
So this is nothing new to them. I mean, they're probably laughing because now everyone else is going to have to learn it as well.
Mhm.
But I think one of the things that happens too, and this is where the real estate agents will start feeling it in two ways. One of them is the buyer's agreement, because you said it, Brandon. I mean, Beth and I have used some buyer's agents because it was free. And that's why most people did it. Okay. But
Mhm.
we've had a couple losers. I mean, I wouldn't, if I had known how they were, after we, interacted with them for a few minutes, I would have never, ever done anything with them. And I certainly wouldn't have signed a contract with somebody I have no relationship with. I'd like to see this house over on Jones Way. Great, sign this contract and I'll take you over there and show you. Well, what does the contract say? Oh, the contract says I'm your exclusive agent. And if there's no commission on the house that you purchase, paid for by the seller, you owe me whatever, fill in the blank number.
Mhm.
What? Like, how fast can I run? So that's one point. But the second point is this. The law requires that home sell the listing agents tell their home sellers about this, and that they don't have to pay the buyer's agents commissions, and they can negotiate any commission with them they wish. That's up to them completely. Now that's compliance with the law. Okay, so once they say that, and we talked about this before, Brandon, you and I, but once they say that, then what happens is how many home sellers are thinking, man, okay, on a $400,000 house is 6%. Here's that commission. I'd have to do the math on the number. It's late in the evening here, but the fact of the matter, a big number. Let's say it's $25,000. Let's just say that, forget the number. Say the commission is 30. They're paying 3 to the seller, the listing agent, 3 to the buyer's agent. Well, they can immediately knock off the 3 to the buyer's agent, so they've cut that to 15 grand.
Mhm.
Okay, so then the seller's thinking, well, you know what? Flat Fee Realty over here has offered me a deal for $564 to go ahead and just list my house, and it's a full service listing. So let's see, I got knocked off 15 grand by not paying a buyer's agent because I don't owe them anything. I don't even know them.
Mhm.
And let's see, I've knocked off 14,000 $478 or whatever the number is by going with the flat fee realty. So now my total expense to sell my home is $567 or whatever the number was.
Yeah.
Okay, when that word gets out, what do you think is going to happen? And you and I already talked about this. I go over and make a great real estate presentation. Okay, and my commission is let's don't worry about the buyer. They're a buyer's agent. They're on their own. Okay, that's fine. It's 3%. So then you come right behind me and make a great presentation, and guess what? You do it for 2%. And then
Mhm.
Chad comes in behind all of us and says, I'll do it for 1%. And Claude comes in behind that and says he'll do it for $564 at his flat fee realty.
Yeah.
Now, let me see. As a savvy financier and a homeowner that would like to protect his funds, I'm going with the Claude at 563.
Way to go,
Okay.
Claude.
This is a no-brainer here. So
Yeah,
when that word really reaches home sellers, then what you're going to see is you're going to see that completely come unglued there.
yeah.
Okay, so then that'll happen. So the question is, if home buyers aren't in a position to refer us because they're working somewhere else, how are we going to replace those leads? How are we going to replace those units? I mean, you don't have to go out of business in 2007 and 2008. I call it the Great Depression of 2007 and 2008. Our clients didn't go out of business. They gained a market share. Okay, so the fact of the matter is others went out of business a lot, and a lot of home inspectors are going to go out of business here too. And you'll start to see the older ones that have been marginal in profitability. It's just kind of a hassle to them. They don't want to learn this new ways of doing it. They'll give it up right away. And then you have that
Yeah.
second tier of people that don't want to invest the money, regardless of their age. They just
Mhm.
like, nah, this isn't for me. It was as a great opportunity. It used to be. Boom, they're out. And then it'll start working down to people that really want to do it but don't know how, as opposed to the people that want to do it that do know how.
Yeah.
And so the third tier will pilfer off. But here's a great opportunity for you guys that know how to gain a ton of business and market share because
Well,
people are still going to buy homes.
yeah. And to your point there, just the last about 30 days, probably, I've heard of 3 inspectors just in my area. Um, I've been told that they're retiring or getting out of the business for whatever reason. So here I am. I'm ready. We've been doing this for years, getting ready for this, right?
That's right. No, you're exactly right. I can remember saying in a mastermind group meeting in Florida, I can't wait till this happens because true marketers will really come out and rise to the occasion. We can help you learn every skill set you need to start dominating your market. And what happens is that's what we need to go. Just, it's is it an unfortunate thing? I couldn't be happier. And I say this, and I'm gonna get criticism from this, and the haters are gonna hate, and so I'm used to it. But this to me is the best thing that ever happened to the home inspection industry ever. We're throwing the yoke off of the real estate agents, off our back, off our neck, and we're going to actually get out there and market our business for ourselves, tell our own story, charge our own prices, provide the services clients need and want, and we are going to make more money. Okay, we'll open up new streams of revenue that we wouldn't be able to open up in the past because the real estate agents wouldn't tolerate it. That's nonsense. They're out. Okay, so let's really move. And I said this, and this isn't a call about that. I want every one of you to start thinking about we're going to move from home inspector to property consultant. Okay, so I just want you to write that down, home inspector to property consultant. Now, home inspections are still going to be our core offer, but we're going to offer a variety of ancillary services around it. And we may pick up some responsibilities of things that the buyer's agent did in the past. And I'm going to start pitching you ideas and see what you think. But I will tell you, it's to me, the best move we've ever had. They were the most disloyal referral source we've ever had. I've never, and I came from the financial services industry, and your referral sources were pretty loyal. With 22 agencies, I did 40 million in annual sales in a company I built from scratch. Those guys were loyal, and I was loyal to them. And I didn't let other people come in and surround their business. We worked to keep their business and get new business. But this one, a better looking guy or gal walks in the office, they got your business. Or somebody is angry because you told the truth about a house, and next thing you know, they tell everyone else in the office that you're a bum,
Yeah.
and so that poisons the office for you when that isn't true at all. You were doing your job, and you talk to my good buddy Joe Ferry, and one of the things he tells you all the time is no plaintiff in a lawsuit ever said the home inspector told them too much. They never said that one time. They never said the home inspector told me too much. They said if the home inspector told me that, I wouldn't have purchased the property. Okay. And you know why a lot of home inspectors don't give it to clients straight up? I'm not saying be scary or crude or anything, but they don't give it to them straight up is because they were afraid of the poison pill they're going to get from the real estate agent. That's gone. That's going. I don't think you got to worry about that now. And it'll take a while to do it. You'll see it gradually move out. Like Brandon said, they're just having meetings on the forums. Good God, man. you've known for months. This September, August 17th was a deadline. The new federal rules went into place on the 17th. And I've heard, oh, they're going to get a website and call for commissions. That's subversion of the federal law. They'll shut that down and you'll be in serious trouble if people do that. That's what this whole thing was about. You can't do that. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. So anyway, with that said, that's of no consequence to us tonight. What we're really talking about is what we can do to replace the leads that we may or may not get in the near future. Let's just replace them. We don't have to rely on anybody but us to produce business for us. We're marketers. We know how to make this thing happen. Now, I will tell you, it's probably going to take some more work than what you're accustomed to. There will be no magic pill, no magic wand. We're going to have to get out here and work. Okay, but damn, we're going to control our own destiny for the first time since I've been in this industry since not the 90s, late 90s. So this is kind of exciting to me because I'm a marketer. So I'm going to go back to Google Business Profile. I will tell you that this thing, if you already do a Google Business Profile, we handle it for you. Don't not listen to this because there's things that you can do to help us help you. The Jerry Maguire thing. Okay, so this is really a critical discussion because this is the absolute most important piece of real estate on the internet for home inspectors, all local businesses, but we're talking about home inspectors tonight.